This submodule presents the local collaborative research which in Reroute we call platforms or site platforms. This built further on the explorative ethnographic research presented in the previous submodule. Here I will narrate more extensively the story of the platforms, 9 of which were designed and built by Reroute researchers in the different sites. The overall aim of the platforms was to initiate, moderate and support rather small-scale but nonetheless significant steps towards transformation, in Reroute speak, to do integration otherwise. The platforms took very different forms, focused on specific local issues and circumstances, and brought together local stakeholders. In the coming 5 minutes, I will share Reroute's experiences with the platform building process. Our researchers used a wide range of methods in order to address specific challenges of the arrival situation which the preceding ethnographic explorations had identified. The lessons learned by the project may help you use platforms as tools to better understand the dynamics of arrival situations while building coalitions of stakeholders to strengthen or reorient them. It is Reroute's aim to initiate, moderate and support comparatively small but nonetheless significant steps towards social change. We have the ambitious goal of strengthening relevant components of the arrival infrastructure, emphasizing their potential as well as contributing to a change in the narratives about migration. Our researchers tried out different possible formats and configurations of collaboration and explored potential interventions to facilitate collaboration of actors and stakeholders, including newcomers, empower new migrants, earlier arrivals and natives alike, and rework their interaction in the sites in Turkey, Germany, France, Greece, Netherlands, Belgium, Hungary, and the UK. Each platform follows a unique combination of site-specific objectives. Let's take a closer look at how the different Reroute site teams developed approaches tailored to the starting points in their respective sites, while at the same time combining them with the unifying element of the platform building. We can present only 3 of the 9 platform projects, but further info on all sites can be found on the Reroute website. First example, map in Thessaloniki. In Thessaloniki, the Reroute researchers designed and built what they named the Migrants Arrival Project. It was based on the observation that a large number of people on the move seek to cross Thessaloniki without being registered and documented by the country's authorities. They want to cross the Balkans and apply for asylum in another European country. Due to their fear of detection by the authorities, they limit their contact with the city and especially with the city center. As a result, the information they can access about the arrival infrastructure, more specifically the available services and support facilities, is also limited. Therefore, this platform sought to identify, map and characterize a number of vital components of the arrival situation for people on the move. They located, for instance, organizations and solidarity groups who dispatch crucial information and to operate safe spaces where contact can be made. During participatory workshops with people on the move, the researchers mapped the safe and dangerous areas and routes in and around Thessaloniki. The outcome of the local Reroute platform Migrants Arrival Project was shared with the relevant groups of primary stakeholders. One of these were people on the move who were finding shelter in abandoned train wagons in the vicinity of Thessaloniki. This type of platform can be seen as empowering people on the move in their temporary and transient integration in Thessaloniki's urban environment. Second example, 400 chairs in Dortmund Nordstadt. In Nordstadt, a city quarter of Dortmund, the researchers created a coalition of stakeholders around the lack of social infrastructures affecting mostly newcomer children and youth. More specifically, researchers had observed that there was a considerable shortage in school places as well as places in daycare facilities for children and pediatricians. They also found that this shortage was not reflected in media coverage or public debate. Here, the platform building process consisted in organizing a public event where 400 school chairs were set up in a central square in Nordstadt. It was a rather spectacular attempt to raising public awareness for the issue. The event itself, but above all its lengthy planning and negotiating, brought stakeholders such as schools, daycare facilities, and civil society organizations together. It succeeded in making the stories of the affected families visible and showed public recognition for the many actors dealing with the issues in their daily work. In the agricultural regions of Westland in the Netherlands and Haspengouw in Belgium, the platform consisted in co-creating an exhibition of both new and traditional agricultural rituals and routines. It featured farmers in Romania and Moldova, as well as migrant seasonal workers from these and other Central and Eastern European countries active in Westland and Haspengouw. The researcher embedded the exhibition in two different yearly ritual festivals: the yearly Spring Blossom Blessing event in Haspengouw and the Summer Harvest Thanksgiving event in Westland. Both iterations of the exhibition, their laborious preparation, and the side events that accompanied it engendered manifold conversations about heritage, the challenges of present-day fruit and vegetable farming, and migration labor among the stakeholders. Most importantly, the exhibition brought the voices, experiences, effects, and memories of migrant workers as well as local residents and farmers and employers together, enabling dialogues about common ground. This opened and exemplified ways of overcoming the general atmosphere of polarization and mutual distrust between employers and migrant workers, and those who defend their interests. In other words, this two-sided platform tried to circumvent oppositions around the issue of agricultural labor migration by staging an event of mutual appreciation and cultural recognition. Platform building in Reroute consisted in exploring and realizing possibilities of doing integration otherwise. In all modesty, the platforms merely planted the seeds for future transformative approaches to integration that move beyond or break through entrenched situations, disabling newcomers' life building. They build on existing potentials, but at the same time address the challenges identified, provide constructive impetus, and develop ways out. Crucial in this process is the formation of new or expanding existing alliances, initiating new collaborations, raising awareness of the situation in question, and exchanging experiences and knowledge. Such processes cannot be implemented by the researchers alone. Instead, they need to identify and engage with the local allies in order to form coalitions. This is a challenge of considerable proportion. Rival infrastructure actors are often enduring high workloads and are overwhelmed by structures and procedures. So, the platform format needs to pay attention to actors' time pressures, adapt to their work organization and existing communication tools. Participation has to be as easygoing as possible. The platform building process needs to address existing power relations, no matter if following or scrutinizing them. Furthermore, it is necessary that actors involved in the process become aware of both the issue at stake as well as recognizing other actors as part of the process. Last but not least, the building of trust and credibility in such contexts should not be underestimated. Of course, limited resources, especially time, are an important factor here, as trust-building measures usually take a very long time. Many of Reroute's platform processes were also challenged by the rapidly changing conditions in some sites. In the case of refugees and undocumented newcomers in Brussels, for example, the researcher had to adapt her platforms to the changing situation eventually. She discarded her initial plans for a stable setup in favor for mobile, short-term actions and formats. Fortunately, the way Reroute conceived the platforms did not only allow for adaptations and readjustments, One could even say that changes to the plan were part of the plan in two ways. First, working with the notion of infrastructure helped us to understand arrival situations as simultaneously entrenched and volatile. Secondly, the methods of collaborative ethnography equipped researchers to constantly reflect and readjust. The very notion of platform encapsulates this idea of temporary stability, momentary alliances and collaborations that need to be flexible and highly adjustable to dynamic migration contexts.